Hi, today's film review is of Stage Fright from 1950. This is an Alfred Hitchcock movie, and there is an interesting history behind this one, a little bit. Apparently, Hitchcock's American films had not been doing big business. They were not doing all that well at this time. One of them was the parodying case, which I have reviewed before and did not like, frankly. Anyway, he returned to Britain and made this film. In it, an aspiring actress named Eve Gill, played by Jane Wyman, is pressed into helping a man she has a crush on, named Jonathan Cooper, played by Richard Todd. He tells her that, I'm sorry, I'm reading my handwriting here, this is probably a terrible thing to do. Anyway, he tells her that this other actress, Charlotte Inwood, played by Marlene Dietrich, and I gotta tell you, she sounded so much like Madeline Kahn in Blazing Saddles, I could barely contain my laughter. I couldn't actually contain my laughter. Found her husband dead and managed to get blood on her dress. And he's got to pick up a new dress for her now and take it back to her where she is, and he needs Eve's help with all this. So, you're kind of dropped into this. You see, this all happens in flashback while they're making their getaway, as it were, in a car. And because during the flashback, I hadn't mentioned this, Cooper goes to the crime scene, makes it look like someone broke in, covers up evidence, throwing things around an office, tossing curios around. But when he tries to leave, someone spots him running away from the house. Okay, so Cooper really, really needs Eve's help now because he has no family, no friends, no place to go. The guy's got zip. So it's like, how did she get involved with this loser? Why is she so attracted to him? Who knows? So Eve takes Cooper to her father's place. Eve's dad reluctantly takes him in. I think excessive kindliness runs in the family, possibly, because both Eve and her father are willing to take this relative stranger in. Actually, Eve is attracted to him, but it's not like they're boyfriend girlfriend. It's not like they've slept together. It's boyfriend girlfriend. Jeez, what am I in 4th grade? Anyway, sorry. Eve's dad notices somehow that the blood has been deliberately smeared on the dress rather than spattered, as would presumably happen if she had shot her husband. Her husband was shot. And he and Eve come to the conclusion that Charlotte did the deed and set Cooper up to be framed. Well, a lot of the movie is taken up with Eve going undercover, as it were, as a substitute dresser for Charlotte. That's the woman who, is behind all this. Under the name of Doris Tinsdale, not Dinsdale, as I kept thinking about after she said Tinsdale. Okay, so not Dinsdale. Eve does her Nancy Drew bit and finds out that Charlotte's having an affair with her manager. Okay, and whilst in Nancy Drew mode, Eve gets to know the detective on the case, the murdered husband of Charlotte, in case you might have forgotten. His name is Smith, Wilfred O. Smith. I write here, in parentheses, shades of Roger O. Thornhill? But Eve calls him Ordinary Smith, because Wilfred kind of sucks as a name, I guess. Plus the O probably stands for nothing. See North by Northwest. The problem, who actually killed Charlotte's husband? Is Charlotte framing Cooper? And is he really as innocent as he claims? All of these things come up. So I can't go any further without saying, because that would be telling. Okay, I can't go any further because that would be telling. But I will say that I enjoyed the film because it was suspenseful enough to keep me engaged throughout. Eve ends up in situations that border on farce at times. In these scenes, such as when she's at this fair, she's at some kind of fair, with all these booths and games. It's kind of like a carnival is what it looked like. She's going from tent to tent and booth to booth, trying to take care of do her dresser job for Charlotte, who thinks of her as Doris Tinsdale, and yet running into friends who know her as Eve Gill. And then her father shows up, and it all gets extremely interesting. You see Alfred Hitchcock's humor coming out here big time. And it's humor, and yet it's suspenseful. At the same time, it's like, what's going to happen? Are they all going to find out about each other and what one is doing to the other and all that? Anyway, it's interesting and it's fun. I like that. Another thing I liked was the opening. The movie opens with this, you see this stage curtain, which is presumably made of a very heavy material because, well, never mind why. It has a very solid looking structure to it, a solid look to it. So anyway, the curtain rises literally and you see this town behind it, so it's like all the world's a stage sort of thing. And there are a lot of references throughout to playing parts, appearances versus reality, acting in general, illusion, and eventually you get to the concept of the unreliable narrator. And I think it was Eddie Muller who might have said that this might have been the first time in a movie that somebody had attempted to depict the unreliable narrator. But it may have been a mistake to do it in the order that they did or something. I thought it was just fine. I was, I don't think it's... Hitchcock apparently felt really bad about the way he had done this, and I thought it just worked just fine. I mean, it wasn't in a sense unfair or anything. It's just the kind of tricks that now we don't think about because we've seen whole movies based on unreliable narrators. So, but it's very interesting to think that at that time it was so controversial. Anyway, having said all that, this may not be one of Hitchcock's best films, but it does show an evolution toward what would become the creation of some of the greatest movies ever made. And, that's Hitchcock's, golden period, whatever you want to call it, his great classics. Rear Window, She Fumbles for a Name, North by Northwest, Strangers on a Train, Shadow of a Doubt. There we go, Debbie. Yeah, there are a whole bunch. Anyway, I won't go through all of them, but that period there, from the, what was it, the 40s up to the early 60s, I guess. Yeah, great films. Everyone should watch them. So, yeah, see this movie. It's fun. It's. I think it works. And also Marlene Dietrich. I mean, really, I could not stop laughing when she would sing. See Blazing Saddles for the reference. All right then. Talk to you later.